Hey, how was your weekend?
Good. You?
Crazy weather, huh?
You nod. You smile.
Keeping busy?
Yeah, super busy.
You've said that 400 times. You both know it means nothing.
We should grab coffee sometime.
You won't, and you step out empty. 2 minutes between floors cost you more than an hour of real work. That's not you being shy or bad at people. It's older than that. Your brain is running a program from 100,000 years ago. Back when a stranger wasn't small talk. A stranger was a threat, and that program never shut off. It's still watching the guy in the elevator like he might be dangerous. Small talk feels like torture because it's a survival mechanism, firing in the wrong century. By the end, you'll know what your brain thinks it's protecting you from, and why the people who love small talk aren't better than you. Their alarm is just quieter. Your brain isn't afraid the stranger is dangerous. It's afraid it can't predict him. Go back to the elevator. You don't know this guy. So under the surface, your brain is doing math. What does he want? How long is this? Is he going to ask you something? Friendly or fake friendly? You're not chatting. You're running the numbers on a person you have no file for, and you'd think the stress comes from some fear that he's a threat. It doesn't. It comes from the not knowing. In 2016, a team at University College London showed it with something almost cruel. 45 people sat down to a simple game. Turn over a rock on the screen. Sometimes a snake is under it, and a snake means a real electric shock. Some rocks were safe, some were certain snakes, and some sat right in the middle. A coin flip. Here's what they found. The people who knew a shock was coming stayed calm. The people who only might get one were the most stressed of all. A 50-50 rock wore them down more than a guaranteed shock. The pain was never the problem. The maybe was. A stranger is a 50-50 rock. Your brain can't call it, so it can't stand down. Small talk is your brain flipping the same rock over and over, waiting for a snake that never comes. That's the drain, not fear. Forecasting. And there's a twist. The people whose stress spiked hardest at the unknown got the best at spotting the snakes. The tax you're paying is your brain getting good at people. Then there's the blank. Someone asks you something easy.
So, what do you do?
And there's nothing. A second ago, you were a person with thoughts. Now the drawer is empty. You think that's because you're bad at this. It's the opposite. It's because too much is running. Picture the space where you hold what you're about to say as a small desk. It only fits so much. And the second a conversation starts, your brain piles that desk high. How do I look? Did that sound weird? What does he think of me? Why is this taking so long? There's no room left for the actual words. In 2005, a psychologist named Sion Bylock ran a now famous test. She had people do math under pressure. The strange part, the people with the most mental horsepower choked the hardest, because they were the ones leaning on that desk the most, and pressure had just buried it. Pressure doesn't make you slower. It rents out the room you think in. Small talk is that room. Rent it out. You're not blank because you've got nothing to say. You're blank because the part of you that finds the words is busy watching you look for them. And watching yourself is only half the job, because while one part of you hunts for words, another part is holding a face. You do the warm face. You nod, you laugh a little, you sound glad to see someone you'd have happily not seen, and you'd think that's free. It isn't. There's a name for putting on a feeling you don't have. Psychologists call it emotional labor. They found it studying the people who have to be pleasant all day. Flight attendants, nurses, the person behind the counter, and the thing that wears those people down isn't the hours, it's the gap. Warm on the outside while the inside feels nothing. The wider the gap, the more it drains. They call it surface acting. Small talk is surface acting with no paycheck. Every "so good to see you" you didn't mean is a tiny withdrawal. Do it for 2 minutes and you don't walk away bored. You walk away overdrawn. And some of you need a whole day to fill the account back up. So the tiredness after isn't you being weak. It's the bill for holding a face that doesn't match the person behind it. But here's what makes it sting. You're paying all of that. The watching, the faking, for a conversation about nothing. The weather, the weekend, the traffic. It feels like pure noise. Like you're both just filling air. Except it isn't noise. It's the oldest thing we do. Go back far enough and our ancestors bonded the way monkeys still do. By grooming. Sitting for hours, picking through each other's fur. It says one thing. You're safe with me, but you can't groom a whole tribe by hand. So somewhere along the way, we traded fingers for words. An anthropologist named Robin Dunbar calls it verbal grooming. Small talk is you, running your fingers through someone's fur. without ever touching them. How was your weekend isn't a question. It's a hand on a shoulder. It doesn't want an answer. It wants to check one thing. Are we okay? That's why skipping it feels wrong. Walk up and open with something real, and a people flinch. You reached past the grooming and grabbed. The small talk was the safety check you were supposed to pass first. But here's the catch. Grooming keeps the peace. It doesn't make you close. In the 90s, a psychologist named Arthur Aaron sat two total strangers down with a list of questions that slowly got deeper. 36 of them. By the end, some felt closer than people they'd known for years. Not from weather. From answering the questions, small talk is built to avoid. So when small talk leaves you empty, nothing's wrong with you. You're starving at a table set with the wrong food. Your brain didn't come for grooming. It came for the 36 questions. And that's what they never tell you. Everything that makes small talk hard is your brain doing something right. It reads a room it can't predict. It runs the numbers on a stranger. It feels the gap between a real smile and a polite one. It reaches for the deep thing when the shallow thing runs dry. That's not a system that's broken. That's a system turned all the way up. Remember the rocks and the snakes? The people who got the most stressed by the unknown became the best at reading it. You're the same. You're tired because you're processing the mood, the subtext, the thing the other person isn't saying out loud. Small talk drains you because you were never only making small talk. And the ones who breeze through it, the weather, the weekend, never feeling a thing, they're not better than you. Their alarm is just quieter. They're reading 2 signals where you're reading 10. Here's the part that's harder to say. For most of you, this is simply how you're built, and there is nothing to fix. But for some of you, the tiredness isn't the whole story. Somewhere back there, a few people taught you that reaching out costs more than it gives. So you stopped reaching. And
I hate small talk.
quietly became the wall you get to stand behind. Because that sounds better than
I stopped trying.
if that's you, the science doesn't erase it. Being wired to find people draining is real, but so is the difference between a door you close because you're full and a door you've forgotten how to open. One of them you chose. The other one chose you. So tomorrow when the doors slide open and someone turns to you with,
So, how was your weekend?
you'll feel it start. The bracing, the tired, the quiet pull to get out. That was never you being broken, or cold, or bad at people. It's a 100,000-year-old alarm, still doing its job, still checking a stranger for a danger that stopped coming a long time ago. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just built for a smaller, older world than the one that keeps knocking. If this made you feel a little less broken, good. There's another one waiting right here. And if you want more of these, you already know what to do.